The gym erupted in laughter as Elena stepped onto the mat, her combat boots laced tight. "Here to mop the floor, soldier girl," the coach sneered, his black belt gleaming. Elena's eyes stayed steady, her silence louder than their jeers. In just 12 seconds, she'd silenced them all, turning mockery into awe. What secret fueled her victory, and how did it reshape a gym and a town forever? In the summer of 2023, the town of Redstone, Colorado, baked under a relentless sun, its main street a quiet stretch of brick storefronts and dusty awnings. The Redstone Fight Academy, a squat concrete building with frosted windows and a faded sign, was the town's hub for martial arts enthusiasts. Inside, the air smelled of sweat and rubber mats, and the walls were plastered with posters of local champions. Elena Cruz, 34, stepped through the door on a Tuesday afternoon, her posture ramrod straight, her dark hair pulled into a severe ponytail. Her face, tanned and lined from years outdoors, held a quiet determination. She wore a plain gray t-shirt, cargo pants, and scuffed black combat boots, their laces double-knotted with military precision. Elena had come to sign up for a women's self-defense class, advertised on a flyer she'd seen at the local library. The class was taught by Marcus the Titan Delgado, a third-degree black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and a former regional kickboxing champion. Marcus, 42, was a local legend, known for his chiseled physique, booming voice, and an ego that filled the gym like humidity. He leaned against the front desk, chatting with a group of male students when Elena approached. His eyes flicked to her boots, and a smirk curled his lips. "Combat boots in my gym?" he said, loud enough for the room to hear. "You here?" "To fight or fix the plumbing," laughter rippled through the gym. A cluster of young men near the punching bags chuckled, nudging each other. Two women in sleek athletic wear, their ponytails bouncing, stifled giggles behind their water bottles. Elena's expression didn't flicker. She slid a registration form across the desk, her handwriting neat, and handed over her debit card. "Class starts in 15 minutes, Marcus said, tossing her a waiver. "Might want to swap those boots for real gear. This ain't a parade ground." Elena nodded once, her calloused fingers checking her laces, and took a seat on a bench in the corner. The gym was a mix of seasoned fighters and eager newcomers, all warming up under Marcus's watchful eye. He strutted across the mat, demonstrating a series of jabs and roundhouse kicks, his voice carrying over the hum of fans. "Self-defense isn't about looking tough," he declared, glancing at Elena's boots. "It's about being tough. Master the basics, or you're done in a real fight." The students nodded, some scribbling notes, others mimicking his moves. A few shot pitying looks at Elena, who stretched alone, her movements precise but understated, like a dancer conserving energy. When it was time to pair up for drills, no one approached Elena. She practiced solo, her footwork deliberate, her strikes controlled. "Those boots gonna trip you up, sweetheart?" Marcus called, his tone teasing, drawing snickers from the group. Elena adjusted her stance and continued, her eyes focused on an invisible point, unshaken by the taunts. Her silence wasn't shyness, it was steel, forged in places the gym's regulars couldn't imagine. Elena lived in a small apartment on Redstone's outskirts, a sparsely furnished space with a single photo on the wall. Her in army fatigues, standing beside a Humvee in a desert. She'd served 4 tours as a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army, leading reconnaissance missions in Afghanistan. Her boots, worn through dust storms and ambushes, were more than footwear. They were a reminder of survival, of carrying her team through chaos. She'd left the military 2 years earlier, after a roadside bomb left her with a limp she'd worked hard to erase, and scars she kept hidden under long sleeves. Redstone was her fresh start, a place to rebuild away from the noise of her past. She hadn't come to the gym to prove herself. Elena wanted practical skills to complement her military training, to stay sharp in a world that felt unpredictable even in peacetime. But the gym's culture, macho, showy, dismissive, grated on her. During the first class, Marcus paired her with a beginner, a nervous woman named Tara, and barked corrections at Elena's technique. "Loosen up, soldier girl. This ain't boot camp," he said, winking at the group. Tara, 28, a barista with a shy smile, whispered, "Ignore him. He's like that with everyone new." Elena gave a small nod, her focus unbroken. Over the next week, Elena arrived early and stayed late, completing every drill with quiet competence. She didn't flaunt her skills, but Tara and another student, Kim, a 40-year-old nurse, noticed her precision. "She's good," Kim said to Tara during a water break, watching Elena execute a flawless defensive block. "Why's she so quiet?" Tara shrugged. "Maybe she's just focused, or maybe she's been through stuff." The men in the class, led by a cocky 20-something named Derek, kept up the harassment. During a sparring drill, Derek accidentally elbowed Elena's shoulder, muttering, "Oops, didn't see the boots?" She brushed it off, her jaw tightening imperceptibly. Marcus watched the dynamic with amusement, his commentary sharp. "Real fights don't wait for you to get comfortable," he said after Elena took a hard fall during a takedown drill. "If you can't handle this, stick to yoga." He never chose Elena as a demo partner, preferring flashier students like Derek or a gymnast named Chloe. Once, when forced to pair with her, he slowed his moves dramatically. "Gotta make sure you can keep up," he said, smirking as the class laughed. After class one evening, Tara lingered, helping Elena stack mats. "Why do you wear the boots?" she asked, genuinely curious. "They look heavy." Elena paused, her fingers tracing a scuff on the leather. "They ground me," she said quietly. "Remind me of what I've carried." Before Tara could "Ask more," Marcus shouted from his office. "Lock up, Army girl." The nickname stuck, whispered behind her back. Rumors swirled. Elena was a washed-up recruit, a wannabe soldier clinging to a failed dream. No one asked her story. They didn't know her boots had walked through fire, or that her silence was the calm before a storm. By the second week, Elena had become a fixture at Redstone Fight Academy, her presence both unassuming and undeniable. She arrived before the gym opened, stretching in the dim light, and left after everyone else, wiping down equipment with a methodical care. Her boots, polished but worn, drew relentless attention. Derek and his friend Nate, a wiry kickboxer, made a game of it, tossing comments like punches. "Boots gonna march you right out of here," Nate said during a grappling drill, shoving Elena harder than necessary. She rose without a word, her eyes sharp but controlled. Marcus fueled the mockery, his ego thriving on the gym's hierarchy. "This is a fight school, not a costume party," he said one afternoon, pointing at Elena's feet. "Get some real shoes, or you're just playing pretend." The class laughed, but Tara and Kim exchanged uneasy glances. "He's being a jerk," Kim whispered to Tara. "She's better than half these guys." Elena's performance was undeniable. Her blocks were textbook, her counters swift, but she never showboated, which Marcus mistook for weakness. "You gotta want it," he'd say, shaking his head. "Heart matters more than form." Elena's heart was a fortress, built through years of leading soldiers under fire. She'd trained in Krav Maga during her service, not for sport, but for survival, learning to neutralize threats with ruthless efficiency. The gym's theatrics, Marcus's spinning kicks, Derek's flexing for Instagram, felt trivial compared to the life-or-death stakes she'd known. But she wasn't here to compete with them. She wanted to hone her skills, to feel capable in a civilian world that often felt alien. The taunts stung, but she'd faced worse. Insurgent gunfire, sleepless nights, the weight of her team's lives. These were just words. Still, the gym's culture wore on her. During a sparring session, Derek swept her legs too aggressively, sending her crashing to the mat. "Sorry, soldier girl," he said, grinning. Marcus clapped. "That's how it's done. Real fights don't pull punches." Elena stood, brushing off her pants, her face unreadable. Only Kim noticed the slight clench of her fist, a fleeting sign of restraint. At home, Elena sat on her couch, The photo of her in Afghanistan, staring back. She texted her brother Javier, a mechanic in Denver. "This gym's full of clowns, but I'm staying. Gotta show them what strength looks like." Javier replied, "You've faced worse than some loudmouths. Knock 'em dead, Hermana." The women in the class began warming to Elena. Tara, who'd struggled with confidence, mimicked Elena's stance, finding it steadied her. Kim, a mother of two, admired Elena's discipline, asking her for tips after class. "How do you stay so calm?" Kim asked one evening, watching Elena fold towels. Elena smiled faintly. "You learn to pick your battles." Their support was a lifeline, but the men's hostility grew. Nate tripped her during a drill, laughing when she stumbled. "Boots too heavy?" he jeered. Marcus watched, his silence an endorsement. Rumors about Elena thickened. Derek told Nate she'd probably flunked out of basic training, living in a fantasy. A receptionist, overhearing, mentioned Elena's registration form listed military veteran, but no one believed it. "She's too quiet to be a soldier," Chloe said, adjusting her headband. The only person who saw through the gossip was Gus, the gym's 70-year-old janitor, a former Marine who'd served in Vietnam. He'd glimpsed Elena's file while cleaning Marcus's office. Staff Sergeant Elena Cruz, Bronze Star recipient. 4 tours. Gus kept quiet, but when he saw Elena scrubbing mats alone, he nodded. "You're the real deal, kid," he said. Elena met his eyes, a flicker of understanding passing between them. Midway through the course, Marcus announced a challenge night for Friday, 2 weeks away. "Step up and face me on the mat," he said, tightening his black belt. "Beat me, and you get free training for a year, plus your name on the wall." The gym buzzed. Derek and Nate signed up instantly, flexing for the group. No one noticed Elena add her name to the list late. That night, her pen steady. When Marcus read the roster the next day, he burst out laughing. "Army girl's got guts, I'll give her that," he said. Derek high-fived Nate. "She'll bail before she steps up," Nate predicted. Tara overheard Gus talking to Kim about Elena's record. "Bronze Star? For real?" Tara asked, wide-eyed. Gus shrugged. "Some warriors don't need to shout." Tara told Kim, who began watching Elena with new respect. That evening, Elena called Javier. "I'm fighting Friday," she said. "Not for me, for them. To show what's possible." Javier's voice was proud. "Give 'em hell, Elena." The gym hyped challenge night with posters and social media posts, listing Elena's name last with "Boots" in parentheses. The mockery only sharpened her focus. She spent evenings reviewing Marcus's techniques, noting his reliance on flashy kicks and predictable patterns. At home, she practiced Krav Maga moves in her tiny living room, her boots scuffing the floor. Redstone Fight Academy was about to learn a lesson it wouldn't forget. Challenge night transformed Redstone Fight Academy into a spectacle. The gym's mats were extended, surrounded by folding bleachers packed with nearly 150 people, locals, students, and curious onlookers drawn by the hype. A spotlight illuminated the center mat, and a local DJ blasted hip-hop, the bass vibrating the walls. Marcus entered to cheers, wearing a black GI with his black belt tied perfectly, his grin wide as he waved like a rock star. He grabbed a microphone, spinning it with flair. "Welcome to the Titans' turf," he shouted. "Who's ready to test the champ?" Elena sat in the back row, her boots crossed at the ankles, her gray t-shirt unremarkable amid the crowd's neon workout gear. She watched Marcus's warm-up, cataloging his habits. The slight lean before a kick, the overconfident jab. Derek leaned over to Nate, pointing at her. $10 says she runs crying in 5 seconds, he whispered. Nate laughed. 20 says she doesn't show. Tara, sitting nearby, glared but said nothing, her phone ready to record. One by one, Marcus faced the challengers. A local boxer lasted 25 seconds before tapping out to an armbar. Nate, all bravado, went down in 20, gasping under Marcus's chokehold. A visiting judo brown belt held out for 40 seconds, the night's longest match, before submitting to a leg. Lock. After each win, Marcus performed exhibition moves, spinning kicks, board breaks, milking the crowd's applause. "This is why I'm the Titan!" he roared, arms raised. "Years of grit! Thousands of hours! This is what a fighter looks like!" The crowd chanted. "Titan! Titan!" as Elena waited, her face calm but her mind racing. She'd fought in worse conditions, desert heat, enemy fire, but this was different. This was about proving something to a room full of doubters, not just surviving. Gus caught her eye from the sidelines, giving a subtle nod. Kim whispered, "To Tara, she's got this. I can feel it." When Elena's name was called, the gym fell quiet, then erupted in laughter. "Boots is up," Marcus announced, stretching his arms. "Let's make this quick, soldier girl." Elena stood, removing her jacket to reveal lean, scarred arms, the faint outline of muscle under her t-shirt. She stepped onto the mat, her boots thudding softly, and faced Marcus. The crowd pulled out phones, expecting a viral embarrassment. Tara leaned forward, her heart pounding. Kim clutched her water bottle, whispering, "Come on, Elena." The referee, a local MMA coach, outlined the rules: full contact sparring, win by submission, knockout, or referee stoppage. Marcus bowed, with a flourish playing to the crowd. Elena responded with a crisp salute, her military bearing silencing a few snickers. The whistle blew. Marcus bounced on his toes, circling with a cocky grin. "Come on, Boots. Give me something to work with." He threw a lazy jab, testing her. Elena sidestepped with minimal effort, her eyes locked on his. Marcus's grin faltered. He launched a spinning heel kick, his signature move, aiming for her shoulder. The crowd gasped, expecting a knockout. But Elena didn't flinch. She stepped inside the kick, deflecting his leg with her forearm while grabbing his guy. In a blur, she executed a Krav Maga takedown, sweeping his supporting leg and driving him to the mat. His back hit with a thud, the air rushing from his lungs. Before he could react, Elena locked his arm in a joint hold, her grip unyielding. Marcus tapped out, his face red with shock. The referee blew the whistle. "Submission! Match over!" The clock read 12 seconds. Silence gripped the gym, 150 people frozen in disbelief. Elena released Marcus's arm and stood, offering her hand. He stared, dazed, then took it, pulling himself up. "Not just Boots," she said softly, her voice carrying in the quiet. Marcus blinked, his bravado gone. He grabbed the microphone, his voice shaky. I underestimated her. Sergeant Cruz, you've got my respect." The crowd exploded, women cheering loudest. Tara's video, already uploading to TikTok, zoomed to thousands of views. Kim hugged Tara, tears in her eyes. "She did it," Gus smiled, his weathered face proud. Derek and Nate sat stunned, their bets forgotten. After the crowd thinned, Tara approached Elena. "How'd you stay so calm?" she asked. Elena adjusted her boots. "Fighting's not about noise. It's about focus and respect. Never underestimate anyone." By midnight, the video, "Woman in Combat Boots Schools Black Belt in 12 Seconds, had 50,000 views. Comments flooded in. "Queen vibes only." He got humbled real quick. Those boots are legendary. Elena didn't check her phone. She walked home under Redstone's starry sky, her boots steady on the pavement, feeling lighter than she had in years. Monday morning, Marcus called Elena into his office, a cluttered space with trophies lining the shelves. His usual swagger was absent, replaced by a quiet sincerity. "I was wrong about you," he said, leaning forward. "I'd like you to teach a class. Military-style self-defense your way. No fluff, just real skills." Elena studied him, weighing his words. "One condition," she said. "Everyone's welcome, no matter their gear or background." Marcus nodded. "Deal." Within weeks, Sergeant Cruz's survival skills became the gym's hottest class. Women who'd avoided martial arts, mothers, students, survivors, signed up to learn from Elena. Men joined too, drawn by her practical approach. "Your stance is your foundation," she taught, her voice steady. "Build it strong, and nothing can shake you." The gym's culture shifted. A new sign went up above the entrance. "Judge by skill, not style." The once cliquey atmosphere softened, with students pairing up across skill levels, helping each other improve. Derek and Nate, humbled by Elena's win, became her most dedicated students. "She doesn't sugarcoat," Derek told a newcomer. "But when she says you're solid, you feel it." Tara, now Elena's assistant, thrived under her mentorship, teaching beginners with a confidence she'd never known. Kim organized a women's sparring group, naming it the Boot Brigade, in Elena's honor. Local news caught wind when the video hit 2 million views, and Elena reluctantly gave an interview. "Strength isn't about showing off," she said. "It's about showing up every day for what matters." Marcus embraced the change, launching a Respect the Fight campaign to address stereotypes in martial arts. He spoke openly about his mistakes, earning respect for his honesty. "I thought I knew what a fighter looked like," he told a regional MMA conference. "Elena taught me it's not about the belt, it's about the heart." The Boot Brigade won their division at a state tournament, their black t-shirts emblazoned with Elena's mantra, "Stance strong, heart stronger." A month after challenge night, Elena received a letter from a high school girl. "I was bullied for wearing work boots to school. Your video showed me I don't have to change who I am. Thank you." Elena pinned it to her apartment wall next to her army photo. Javier visited, watching her teach a packed class. "You're still saving people," he said, hugging her. "Just with punches now." The gym's transformation rippled through Redstone. A coffee shop started a pay-it-forward board, inspired by Elena's inclusivity. The library hosted self-defense workshops, with Elena as a guest instructor. On the 6-month anniversary of Challenge Night, the gym held a charity event. For veteran mental health, everyone wearing boots, no excuses shirts. Elena stood at the mat's edge, her boots polished, her scars a quiet badge of honor. Set in 2024, explores the gym's growth and Elena's rising influence. Details her classes expanding to include at-risk youth, with a subplot about a teen girl, Mia, who finds confidence through Elena's mentorship. Marcus and Elena partner on a community self-defense program, facing pushback from rival gyms, but gaining allies. Introduces Elena's struggle with PTSD, triggered by a loud noise during class, and her quiet bond with Gus, who helps her cope. Highlights Redstone's evolving culture, with businesses adopting Elena's ethos, e.g., a gym offering free classes for low-income residents. Ends with a regional award for Elena, which she accepts to honor her students, not herself. Set in 2025, reflects on Elena's legacy as the gym becomes a statewide model for inclusivity. Explores Elena training Tara to take over her classes, preparing to visit Javier's family in Denver. Introduces a subplot about a skeptical journalist who attends Elena's class to debunk the hype, but leaves inspired. Writing a viral feature. Culminates in a Redstone Fight Festival, with Elena and Marcus co-hosting, and Mia winning her first tournament. Closes with Elena and Gus at the gym, sharing coffee, her boots still on, reciting the gym's motto, followed by the call to support the channel. Elena's 12 seconds proved strength isn't in the loudest voice, but the steadiest heart. Have you ever broken a stereotype or faced doubt with courage? Share your story in the comments or type respect if you believe true power shines through action. Subscribe for more stories that shatter limits and redefine what's possible, and support our channel to keep these tales of triumph alive.